So, in this video I'm going to recommend some phone Geiger counters, or basically radiological detection instruments, because it turns out these are actually quite good upon further sort of playing about with them. So there's the one that comes either in normally a black or red design, called the Smart Geiger. That's this one. I've showed this one before. And this one, I don't know if it's got a particular brand name, but it's actually basically a spectrometer. Now, it's only a very basic one, it's nowhere near as good as, proper full-size spectrometers, but it's actually pretty good. So, if we plug the Geiger in first, and that has its own app, which is this one, Smart Geiger. Now, what I need to do is just turn the phone to aeroplane mode, because for some reason these never work very well when you've got the aeroplane mode on. I think it's because it can sometimes pick up Wi-Fi signals. So what I'll do is just try and get that there. Now, it will be above background radiation at the moment, because what's going on is the phone knows that that's in there. So interestingly, these are advertised as gamma only, but they can detect beta, and I can demonstrate that with some strontium-90. It seems the very end of it is susceptible to beta radiation, but most of it is just gamma only. So if we open this little pot up, here's some thorium dust that the Chinese helpfully advertise as being healing powder, negative ion healing powder, and as you can see there, it's going to start counting up. Now, these are nowhere near as good obviously as full-size Geiger counters with all the units and that, but considering these are $20 to $30 and most people have a smartphone anyway, they are very good for that price range. I found that you struggle for like $20 to $30 to get a good, Geiger counter otherwise. The reason obviously being is most of the power and obviously the computing part of it is done by your mobile. So nearly all the rest of it comes down to just all the money being spent on the Geiger counter itself. Whereas with obviously if you're spending $30 on a cheap Geiger counter, that has to be the power supply, all the bits have to be factored in. So as you can see, that's detecting at about 2.5 microsieverts. I don't know what this is calibrated on, probably cesium-137. But that's basically how it compares counts to a cumulative dose. So as you can see, that's working quite well. Now let's get out some strontium-90 and I will demonstrate that this actually can detect beta radiation. So see that shooting up there? That's the end window letting the beta through, so that's really going up. You can overload this. So if I put that there, notice it stopped counting. That's because the strontium-90 has just overloaded the tube. If I move it back a bit, so this strontium-90 is so strong it has to be that far away, look, to actually register on it. Which is quite interesting actually. But yeah, put it that close, it stops reading. But notice if I put the strontium-90 on the side of the Geiger counter, it's not increasing the dose. So yes, the end window does allow beta radiation through, or beta radiation depending on how you want to pronounce it. So that's quite fascinating, because a lot of people when they reviewed these said these are gamma only. Nope, as you can see, beta radiation gets through the end cap just fine, and you can see that dose is shooting up there. Now, I wonder how high this will actually go, because this in terms of microsievert equivalents would be probably about 20 millisieverts, but whether or not this will max out I don't know, so that will be an interesting factor. So what I want to do is just pop that there, so I don't have to keep holding the strontium in my hand, probably a good idea. Let's get rid of that. But yeah, overall these are very good, these FT Lab things. As said, they're not perfect, but for the price range, when people are saying, should I get, this Geiger counter for like 30 to 80 sort of pounds price range, I just would normally recommend these, because you've got all the resources that you need to actually use them. You get both a count and a dose equivalent. So count being that number at the bottom that's at 4,000 odd now, and the dose being, quite high at the moment, yeah, counting. So what will end up happening is that will obviously keep going up and up and up. I don't know if that will actually max out, this is what I'm very interested in. I've got some more strontium-90 here, so I'm going to try and get that on a side angle as well without overloading the tube. Because obviously the issue is if I have too much strontium-90 in close proximity it will overload the tube, but if I just zoom in there a bit, you can see that working away. So if you're wondering where I got the strontium-90 from, the really powerful bits from a Chinese Type 75 Geiger counter, the other bits from a DP66 Geiger counters package, and that little bit there that's still quite powerful is from a British well, it had a weird name, but basically the portable dose for 8 meters before the Plessis. But yeah, so as you can see, it can go up to a very high microsievert range, comparatively to a lot of things. So I'll take that away there. But as you can see, that works absolutely fine for beta radiation, because there are reviews where people say no, it doesn't do that, but it does. So as you can see, that's done that. Let's just stop it and start it again to clear the dose. There we go. Right, now let's get some radium, just to show gamma radiation going in. So let's put this sideways onto the thing, and as you can see, oh, I might need to just readjust the camera there. The radium is scoring quite well on there. This is the weird, really radioactive dial that they used to put in the bloody, what's it called? Soviet DP63A Geiger counters, where they put a bit of radium in it that gives off about 1 Rontgen per hour of combined beta and gamma dosage. And I think if you put it in an ionization chamber, it's about 16 to 18 Rontgen, about 16 centigrade, 18 Rontgen. So it's quite, quite a potent bit of something that was designed just to let you see in the dark. It would actually irradiate you if you were looking at it for too long, or in too close proximity to it. As you can see, it's working fine with that. Now, most of my Geigers will level out, saying this is about 100 microsieverts if I use something like the Terra P. Again, they're different Geiger Muller tubes, but as you can see, if I put it against that end, look, see the numbers shooting up much faster. And again, that's just because the beta radiation is going through the end of the tube as well. Obviously, the shape of that doesn't exactly line up with the Geiger Muller tube, but it is an interesting thing that, as I said, that this can detect beta radiation, even though a lot of people said they can't. They can, as long as you put the beta source against the end of it. I believe these actually work by having what's called a diode Geiger. That's a really simple design, but that's why, again, these can be made for like $20 to $30. It's not so much a Geiger Muller tube, it's a diode that can detect radiation. So there's that. Anyway, now what you might want to see is the other one I've got. So let's put these sources out the way a second. And what the other one is this little thing, which is a, what do they call it? Spectrometer. So I've got a different app for that one. I use Radmeter for this one. I bought the full version of Radmeter because this is actually a really good app. So I want to go on there and I want to change this. I want to go to Settings, I want to go to Sensor Selection and choose that one that says BTW34X2. That's the one they recommended in the manual that came with this to select. So now what you want to do is that will start going. So it's in microsieverts per hour. This sometimes has a bit of warm-up time. So I'll put the radium against it again. So when it starts working, we'll know. Oh look, here we go. So it's warming up. But it's got an error percentage there. As it warms up, the error percentage goes down. But basically, yeah. I think this one is only gamma. There's an easy way of testing that, of course. Get the strontium-90 back out. Put it against there. Oh wait, no. Beta can get through this to a degree. Not very well, but it can get through it. But again, 100 odd microsieverts. I think it's overloaded the tube there. Let's hold it back a little bit. It's hard to say at which sort of, bit it actually registers it. But the thing I like about this app as well is you can change from microsieverts. Say you wanted millirontgens or rontgens, you can put that on there, look. So there we go, it's going up on the rontgens, and then the tube overloads. Well, it's not a Geiger Muller tube, is it? It's a spectrometer, but similar sort of thing. If we put the radium against it, again, in a moment you should see the dose adjusting based on the radium. Although bear in mind with radium, if we're a millirontgen, how it's doing it is, I think it's doing it 10 millirontgen would be 100 microsieverts on here. Now there are spectrometer apps you can get for this. I've not had much luck with those, so inferiors can read a gamma spectrum, but whenever I've tried those apps I've never got it to look all that interesting of a spectrum. I think you are going to need the full-size spectrometers for that, but again they're quite compact. It's more compact than the other one. You could keep that in your phone all day, couldn't you, if you wanted it in there? It's not going to cause any problems. But yeah, so there we go. So hopefully you found that interesting. But yes, for people asking about $30 Geiger counters or whatever, saying they want them for cheap, I would just recommend something like one of these Smart Lab Geigers, because they are very good for what they are. The only thing I've found that's a bit annoying is let me just unplug that, and it should hopefully realise quite quickly that there's not a sensor in there. The only thing is I found, as much as I'd like it to work, I found Radmeter's a better app, but it doesn't work perfectly with these. Let me just get the strontium and just see if it wants to start responding. Oh, it is going up. Okay, let's put that back on microsieverts and compare the dose across the apps. Okay, so at the moment this is working alright, but sometimes it doesn't, so yeah, if you've got a bit more money to spend, I would recommend Radmeter, because it is a good app. You know, you're going to have to spend like $5 on it or whatever, I can't remember what it cost me, but, you know, it is better than the Smart Lab Geiger's own thing. If you're paying $20 to $30 for a Geiger Muller tube and then another $5 for a very good app, you know, and then because you can play about with all the settings in this, I imagine you could get this working perfectly with enough patience, and there might be a tutorial online. But yeah, the thing I like of this said, you know, you can have, oh, it also shows you counts per second as well, which is quite good on this app. So you can have counts per second or counts per minute. And there's other, you know, ways of logging it, as you can see there. But yeah, anyway, there you go. This is the Radmeter app with some strontium-90 sources and thorium and whatever else, and the different sort of Geigers and spectrometers. So yes, I would definitely recommend some of these little mobile phone-based things. Now I'm going to wash my hands very thoroughly because I've been handling a bit of strontium-90. And as you know, if strontium-90 gets in your body, it is not fun. It will lead to cancers, leukemias, all that sort of thing. So yeah, don't ingest any strontium, please, anybody. But hopefully you found that pretty fascinating. Yeah, these apps are actually pretty good. So there you go.